Welcome to the Sunblood Network home, where we can talk about technology, your mind and body. Seconds, right? More importantly, it's very simple. See with my own two eyes. I'm gonna set up the scene so you can show me. Okay? There was a great ancestor that was upon this planet, right? Some people call him Yah, some people call him Yahweh, some people call him. They always say why. Okay? Talked about him for a reason. Okay? And it has everything to do with the movie called Get Out. You set up the scene so you can understand. Right? And they said Yahweh, when you listen to human mythology about him, not what I believe. Most human beings say Yahweh was bad because Yahweh did certain things. Right? I want you to say two words. When it comes to Yahweh, right? If Yahweh was to come back alive today, he was to see what I see and know what I know. Yeah, I'm not looking at him like he's trying. Okay? We about to pay attention to what the fuck is going on. Recently, I was working in the kitchen. Remember I told you I was working in the kitchen, what the kitchen be. We're gonna break this down because it's gonna come down to technology. You understand? So I have to give you the third dimensional play so you can understand. You break it all the way down, you understand. Okay, right? So, right. I was working at this place called Winfield, right? Winfield, they serve burgers, fries, chicken wings, all that little finger food stuff. Okay. The reason why I was there is not because of the money. Most people are going to think that. No. The reason why I was there is because I wanted to know the experience of running a kitchen. And it's very similar to a food truck. Thank you. I wanted to know that. So I wanted to go inside of there, get to know the experience. That way when I run my food truck, I had the actual experience. I don't want to be inside my food truck like, damn, this is the first time I've ever done this. I'm kind of lost in here. You don't want to do that to yourself. So you prefer to go to a little smaller spot, maybe like, a little eatery, something that you can basically, you can do yourself, but you want to know the formula of how the kitchen moves. That way you know how your kitchen moves, right? Experience gives you the knowing what to do. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so we gonna do that. Alright. What ended up happening was something I came about something very weird. And I really think to myself, look, like, I gotta slow this down. With self and knowledge, and you may not understand just in the moment. And then when you see clarity, oh, it's like you're looking at it's like you're looking at China, right? And you like, I can't make out what it is, right? And then you go through something, right? And then what you went through gives you the full clarity of what you watch. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So, right? People want to feel what we do for about a week. You know what I'm saying? Flat man, right? I gotta break this down so you can understand what I'm talking about. Then I gotta get the inside, you're like, yeah, I'm just checking out right? I don't know that's all. I'm always talking about the technology of mind, right? Now pay attention. In the movie Get Out, the technology of their minds, it will be control. Okay? Now, let's just say this. Let's just say we out and we like, that's just a movie. That movie is just a myth. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But due to my experiences, it's not a myth. It's real truth. So I'll tell you what happened. You don't have to believe me. I see it in my eyes. Um, there's a black man right? And he was person that you're talking to, you see they're watching. You're trying to make sure they're not going to be correct. You sit and watch. You never see. I see. I'm like, damn. So I'm paying attention to the right people in the background. Right? The white people in the background got their eyes on the white people, black girl, and they got their eyes on you. You know them. You're paying attention to their actions. You know what this gets about. This is why this. Now, I'm quiet because when this is the point, I don't have the characteristic of the mirror. That's too good. Pay attention. In order to conquer your nation, I don't need you to be the preacher. I need you to be a subject of the preacher. In this moment, the black boy is acting like a mirror. Me, I'm not even interacting, I'm just watching. So what we see with interactions is this. The mind control of him we can use the old generations. But when it comes towards the new generations, it seems though that character is not our because Watson not cussing out. If he's not doing that, then we don't have control of that because he's the whites consciously whites. We're offspring based on God having the same mind. It's a setup because this is the person. Some of you be upset because both of y'all praise the same thing as God. So both of y'all praise the same thing, that means that both of y'all have the same mind. Okay? So let's get into a little bit more. So sitting here paying attention to the screen, right? And what I have to say to, let me see something real quick. OG G Tolan. Hopefully that's not. Hopefully that's none of them from that Black Nation. That's talking like that. Thank you. We're talking about their Black Nation. They're not even a Black Nation. I seen it with my own two eyes. They're not even a nation. Now, let's get to talking about it a little bit more. Now, what I got to see with my own two eyes was happens in the situation is that instead of him just going with the actions of correction with himself, right? Pay attention. The first memory, remember your eye and your mind are connected. So the first memory that was downloaded in the black man's mind was this. I'm going to argue with my brother. I'm going to try to frustrate him. The reason why that is because he looks like he could potentially take my position. That's the thing, brother. And this is why I'm not your brother. I didn't come here for your position. I don't even give a fuck about your position. Yeah, that's the thing about the black man when he don't own something. He think everyone is coming to take something from him. Everything is already taken from him already. Yeah, even while you're in his job. The white man owns you, boy. That's how stupid you are, boy. You're the creation of your mother, aren't you? I know you can't see things clearly. I love the fact that she raised you, made you less than. Fighting me, it's not going to get you nowhere. Okay? Remember, I'm not your brother, okay? What your mother told you was a lie, okay? I'll show you that I'm not your brother, okay? All right. So what ended up happening in that situation was, he couldn't get with himself, cook that hamburger and shut the fuck up. You know what I'm talking about? All right. So then after that, the next week come in. The next week come in. We still wants to start the art. They understand that robots, right? They don't understand what reality is or how it moves. Okay? I'm sitting here in the kitchen. I have my blue gloves on, right? I go reach up and go grab me some beans and stuff, right? Go couple them out for the kids. Like a couple of almonds, pecan seeds, all that, right? Go couple them out. And as soon as I did that, the black man goes to me, oh, you gotta change your gloves. I was like, excuse me. Right now, your mind is stuck on a certain set. Like I said, it is. So correct me, try to say anything in that room, create it so hard. What you're going to do is this. You're going to allow me to play out the front. Right? But I'm not going to my gloves. Already moving in this. That's the thing. I'm feeling your conscious mind, not you feeling my conscious spirit. Remember, you're a black man that screams white. You're a robot. So, more important. Let's get into it later. That's what I basically, not the forward part, but that part right here. I basically told my brother what happened. So, this machine black man was the name of something. This machine black man told me, yeah, I don't have to let things spread out. If I'm telling you to do, I'm like, excuse me, what's happening right now is your brother is speaking. I don't have to do anything to now, as a black man, come around the thing, right? Use your fists, use your body, and try to force things. That lets you know who's racist. Yeah, because you're trying to force somebody else's conscience into doing something that they don't want. This is why I say a lot of black people are very good. Why are you trying to dominate the next guy's conscience? You're supposed to dominate the next conscience. This is why I live. This is why I live for keep strange. You're a black man, you're trying to dominate the next guy's conscience. You know you're not lazy. It lets you know that underneath your mother, you have he, as a black man, has a characteristic to not think in his mind. He goes to dominate the next conscience, not his conscience. Right? So this is why I see a lot of black men under cover. Y'all are gay because you have a characteristic that's struck from your mother. And subconsciously, it's not like it's in your mind. No, it's a subconscious thing. You're not like, oh, that's another guy. You think you better than all of us? Yeah, let's just try to control him. Like, excuse me, I'm not your from your nation. So that means that if their children that are supposed to be their future, right? If they had this type of character that's inside, I guess they family tree, right? I see why when I listen to that. I don't listen to you. was acting in control of it, I simply walked out the whole restaurant. Well, hold on. Before I did that, it's one part. The last argument we had, right? We walked outside. It's the reason why we walked outside. Everything can be seen outside. You know, everything, including me inside of it. Everything is. Everybody see it. Okay? So, the whole thing about that situation was outside. It's the only he was there, and then we had the black guy. He's supposed to be the shit. Now, when we walked outside, I noticed that the white guy, the way he sat down like, I don't know, he just sat down with like a certain gesture, like, I'm here to watch. I'm not here to prevent anything. I'm just listening here to watch. So I'm like, okay. So then, black boy, he kept talking and all that boy kids me. But I'm not even paying attention to the black boy because it's like a program. I already seen it just so he lived in yesterday. He already did his last one, so I'm paying attention to the white boy. When I'm paying attention to the white boy, it did not look like a Christian hero. It looked like that white boy was controlling. And he was seeing everything he was saying. I kid you not. I see it in my own eyes. I'm looking at the black boy and I'm like, I just walked away from him. Like I had nothing to say to him. Because I seen it. I was like, oh yeah, he being controlled. I'm not even talking to him. No, he's using it. He doesn't even know. And you can tell he's being used because he kept talking, right? And nobody was talking back to him. He just kept talking and talking and talking. I'm like, this is a program. And then when I walked away, he still was talking. And I'm like, yeah, this is a program right here. That's what programs do. It's like a voice recorder. You would put it inside the mind, and the mind just play the voice recorder. And then when you pay attention, you're like, hold on, I'm not even interacting. Right. Then when you walk away, it's still. I'm like, yeah, he's being controlled. Yeah, he's being controlled. I seen it from my own two eyes. Now, what I would say is this, right? Technology, right, that's basically being controlled, right? Always understand, okay, that the technology that you control has the let's say you say the whites control the blacks. You can say that to them, but that's not going to happen. Just because you hack the technology of their minds, you know, the blacks, right? It doesn't mean that their creator won't come back and destroy them and the ones that are trying to control them. Do you understand that? Do you understand that they are owned by someone? Do you understand if you hack a owner's technology, that owner can come back and do something? Black people are owned by someone else. They have, even if they want to denounce it, it doesn't matter. Their creator can come here and do anything to them, and there's nothing that they can do about it. They can't even hide behind white people. So, with that being said, I would say to y'all have fun. Yeah, that's very true. Black people have their original. It doesn't just because they said fuck their original owner and started going with the anti-Christ thing. It doesn't mean that we're owned by white people and so those are our gods now. Like you can magic trick your mind into that. Yeah, you can tell your mind that. You can make a belief system, all that. But your original owner still owns all of it. Okay? So what are the magic tricks that you're going on this earth? Motherfuckers laughing. They may not understand the message of these stories, but we're gonna keep on going. So, like I had said before, um, we're gonna keep on going. They are owned. Yeah. So their leader has to come back and has to destroy them. Has to. The leader of them is looking at it like, hold on, this is so hold on, so if their leader come back, he needs to say, right? That means that basically he's saying this whole thing. He will be in control of someone else. Someone else controlling you. Yeah. I picked it up. I said, yeah. Why is it that these so-called colors, they hate me so much? What's up with that? Oh, they be in control. What you mean they be in control? What you talking about? Oh, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll show you. Went over there and started cooking in the kitchen. We walked outside. I'm looking at the black dude, the white dude, and I'm just sitting here looking at the black dude for a split second. And I'm like, okay, he wanna argue. I don't care nothing about what he doing. I ain't even gonna interact with him. Let him stay there. I'm looking at the white dude, I'm like, oh, I see what the fuck you doing. Oh, I see that. No way. He was literally controlling. This is another thing that I had realized about like the witches in New York too. Yeah, the witches in New York, because there was some witches inside of one thing too. Witches are individuals, just being honest with you, you gotta watch. Witches are individuals that may play a certain character or persona, right? But that persona that they playing is not real. I'm gonna show you. There was a white woman that was there. She was married, right? And the white woman that was married, she wasn't my type of woman. She just wasn't. But what I noticed is that you can tell that she's a witch. Let me show you. Whenever you have someone, right, that don't have personality skills, right? When they don't have personality skills, they don't have a personality. Yes, he supposed to have personality. He supposed to be better. A woman could be trying to contact you. If a woman comes to me like this, I know something's off. Right? The white woman, what she would do is she would put herself in my view. That way I can look at her. I knew that subconsciously, usually whatever you look at, you usually come to. So I knew that the white girl already knew that, right? So that let me know she didn't have a personality within her. Why? Let me show you. I have a personality. When I view something and I like something, I go naturally approach it. As a female, you don't have that characteristic. You don't. You don't have the knowing of how to approach things. You don't have it. Which means, right? That has to be with your personality. So, still want to do it. I immediately do it because of the simple fact that you're trying to program me to come to you. I just don't do it. Yeah, I don't want to do that at all because I can be coming to you. I'm still coming to you. And you're like, oh, I just think that this is good man. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, anytime I see a woman do that, I understand like that's not me, that's a bitch. And more important, she doesn't know what she is. My personality is something like this. There's other women that are not and they do stuff like this very easily. I see myself now, doing that right there, she won't probably get more right out of me than a girl that's just really skinny from the summer shit. I know you're not saying excuse me, so that now you talk to me. That's a bitch. That's a bitch. And like any attention is great attention. It's not great attention to me. You said at the solar machine, right? I'm not even looking at you. I'm looking at the solar machine. This is how much I can bypass my like you're not even there. She's standing in front of the solar machine, so I was like, see what you want. I see what you want. She's the fucking woman. Excuse me. She literally moved to the side. Because it's how you come in. Okay. All right. All right. So with that being said, anytime I see any type of woman moving like that, I specifically know I don't like someone trying to use my mind a situation where it's beneficial to me. That was so funny because it was the same way as the white one. That's why I said all the same. There's nothing different, specifically in New York. Black girl, she's sitting here, whatever the case may be. I'm sitting here at Whole Foods, and I know what to do when I'm at Whole Foods today, right? So sitting there, and I'm sitting there, whatever the case may be, I'm paying attention to something. She bagging up my groceries, and she bagged up my groceries, right? She asked me a question that I knew she didn't have. Pay attention to the setup so you can understand. The black girl asked me, she said, do you want me to put your orange juice inside the bag? I'm already looking at her like, why is she asking me a question? Anytime I give her an order, she cannot do that. That's what she can't do. She can't do that. I know that. Like, that's why I'm gonna try that with her. I just literally keep them out my conscience. So she's asking me a question. I'm like, you can put it in the bag. I already know you're not gonna do it. Why are you asking me that? As a black girl, right? Your mind is constructed not to take order from either your brother or your so-called father or uncles. So as a black girl, why are you at a job where you gotta take an order from a customer and you can't do it? Because this is the funny thing. I didn't check my bags, right? Which I should have checked my bags. And being that I didn't check my bag, guess what happened? Orange juice was definitely not in the bag. Y'all leave a bad permanent stain on yourselves. I am good with y'all. Have a nice one, baby. Anyways, this is why I did not have no children with them purposely. Yeah, anyway, so maybe having that situation was things that they don't like about me, but they always try to be associated to me all the time. So I'm not black. Man. That's not what I am. I don't accept blackness at all. I just don't. I just don't. Technology is artificial created. So why would I like any of that? I've been denounced the black nation as a whole. These people still trying to fight. These are still black people fighting for white people so they can get control. That's what all black people are. Sure. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about. They trying to control the belief. Um, Okay, we good. That's why they probably couldn't hear me. You see? Yeah, there we go. Anyways, everybody don't understand that it ain't like it's a black issue with us. It ain't that. It's just a simple fact that they're being controlled and they have to what they have to do is this is the only thing they can do. The things that a lot of people are experiencing when it comes towards the black nation, as in let's just say you may have came from there, right? And let's just say you denounce the whole concept or the conscience of being black, right? It's a reason why you're doing it. It's a reason why your consciousness is rejecting blackness. It's the reason why you're doing it. The reason why you're doing it is because on the simple fact, black people, right, are a conscious, created offspring of white people. Always understand that black people will get upset, right, if they're not in connection with white people. You understand that? You understand that, right? Always understand that. Black people are a conscious offspring of white folks. Do you understand that? Okay. Now, what you have to understand is that their technology, right, is hacked and compromised. Understand that the black nation doesn't have an ability to teach itself. Do you understand that? Okay. It does not have the ability to teach itself. You don't have the ability because you send generations and generations to school. So, how is the consciousness of blackness ever going to develop on itself? It cannot. It needs crutches of everyone else. The school is a crutch. You understand that? The school is a crutch. That's what the school is. It's not education, it's actually indoctrination. Not only that, right? The generations that are before you,
These generations sold out. When they sold out, you need to ask, what did they sell out? What did they sell out was the technology of their mind. That's what they sold out. Black people are let's simply say it again, they are a conscious offspring of white folks. Do you understand that? White folks created y'all. They own the schools, which means they own the knowledge within the school, which means that they own your mind. How do they own your mind? Because your mind copied and pastes all the information and data of their school. You understand? So, with that being said, or whatever the case may be, right? Um, what you have to understand is that black folks will never have the ability to change. The reason why that is because their conqueror and controller are now so-called white folks. What you have to understand is it's not like what you think it is. You know how you say, oh, these white folks, they came over here and they invaded on the land. And when they invaded on the land, that's when they start conquering the people of this land. That's not actually true. Black people, specifically in the so-called North in New York, yes, they are the ones that open up the door towards their oppressors today. Understand that when it comes towards America as a whole, right? America has many different enemies that you may not know about. Okay? When it comes towards us, right? I will take you all the way back, okay? And then you will understand something. Okay? Now, let's go back to here, right? The reason why a lot of y'all hear me say, why bro always say, he always talk about New York, and he always talk about people being traitors here and all that other stuff. Why he always talk about that? Well, let's just pay attention. The Christ, right? They would say the Christ, right? He was able to go everywhere, right? But a lot of people don't want to say that the Christ was right here in so-called New York. New York was a garden. Okay, I got to take you all the way back so you can get these conscious upgrades right here, right? New York is originally a garden. New York is the original garden of why. The reason why I say that is because on a simple fact, whenever you go outside, right? Let me show you. I'll show you. 1 second. You see that tree right there? Right there. Matter of fact, let me take you outside so I can show you. It'd be a better view so you can understand. Because a lot of people be looking at me like I'm brazy, but then when I break it down, they be like, bro, you actually right. My bad, bro. I bet it's all good. I gotta show you it. Let me show you. That way you know I'm not brazy, okay? All right. So um a lot of people don't understand that New York State is a hidden garden. And a lot of people just don't realize it. Even though they're in front of it, they still just doesn't realize it. But I realized something with myself. I did. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Top of it, something to it. Anyways, I'll show you. See this tree? Why is the tree built like a Y? Why is that? Why is the tree built like a Y? Why is that? Hold on. I'm not done. I'm not done. Yeah, you thinking like, oh, bro, that's just one. You tripping. All right. I know I'm not tripping. This is another Y right here. Every tree, right, of life is built like a Y. This one too. This one too. This one. Now, this the thing. When it comes to this land, right? Whenever someone owns some land, right, they're gonna strike up their land. And what I mean by strike up, as in, it's like you gonna put statues in your land. You gonna put your initials. You know what I'm saying? You gonna put different things that symbolize you. There you go. Because it's your land. You understand what I'm saying? So, right, even this one. Why? So, what I pay attention to with myself is that I understand. I'm like, okay, so this is my world. I know this, right? They're supposed to cover things up. So, as I pay attention, I'm like, hold on. Everything underneath the tree, right, consists of life, right? You know what I'm saying? So, hold on real quick. Most people, they can't see what you're talking about, bro. They're blind. I know. It's okay. I don't care about that. I'm doing it all for myself. That way I can catch it. I ain't doing it for no fans or nothing like that. That's what they supposed to do. If they can block the outside world of why, of course, when they get on the broadcasting, they're supposed to do the opposite. Yeah, the code is that this is why in front of you. The code in your mind that you're supposed to obey is to run away. You're not supposed to listen to me. Thank you. All right. There we go. All right. Now, what I was just paying attention to is that this is a world of why, wise, intelligence. It is. And when I go outside, I notice that everything is trying to cover it. Yeah. And then, like, when you look at Mother Nature, right? That way people can understand why they're going through what they're going through. When you look at Mother Nature, humans are designed to hate Mother Nature. That's including the person that's right now. They hate Mother Nature as a whole. You could tell. You see the roads that they on. Notice that they look at the earth as a circle, right? Everyone has a circle head, right? You see the concrete that they put over Mother Nature's consciousness. That's not crucifying her. You know how you have a crown of thorns? She has a crown of concrete over her head. And the reason why she has that over her head is because, on a simple fact, humans want her to block the connection from mother to son. There you go. They don't want soul to come actually in. Actually, let me show you what the humans do. You see, I'll show you what they're doing. You see all this stuff in the background? You see all this? The human beings, they is programmed to hate the sun. That's what they hate. The reason why they hate the sun is because, on a simple fact, they can't control the consciousness of the sun. It's just like me. They try to use black people to control me. I rebel. White folks don't even try it because they know, like, if we try it, it's gonna get real fucked up in here, right? So what they trying to use is they conscious creation, which is black folks is a conscious creation from white folks. You understand? Black folks is they not even black folks. They white folks. Okay. And the reason why that is because of the simple fact, when it comes to change, right? When it comes to becoming something greater, they are going to reject it because they're underneath the controlment of their masters. Do you understand? So, with that being said, the reason why that is because at one point in time, so-called black folks, they was not black. They was not be lacking in consciousness. Understand? So what you have today in today's world is that they is being retaught by them. Okay? Which means that the technology of the mind is being re-engineered. Re-engineered mean that information and data can be extracted from self. And now information and data of someone else's world from their mind to your mind. Do you understand? So this is why when black folks say, why did the great ancestor destroy all of us? Because you already know. Y'all gave y'all minds and y'all souls away towards y'all false masters. That's what y'all did. That's why y'all able to be controlled. And the original creator of y'all has to destroy y'all because what's the picture that's at the top, it's not trickling down to the bottom. Everyone know, as we all know, that the picture that's at the bottom of y'all being owned by them, this is an illusion. Pay attention to the setup. Black folks come together. We can't do that, but they do it on the 4th of July. They do it on the Juneteenth. They come together every time, but they never come together to actually do what they're supposed to do. Understand that? Okay? So, with that being said, as a whole, they had to be destroyed as well. The reason why that is because y'all only being able to use to basically fight against your creator. That's it. That's your only angle in life. That's it. It's nothing else that y'all have done amongst this planet to say these consciousnesses can transcend. What has black folks as a whole have done besides ignore themselves and become something less? The reason why these messages are coming out today is because they had to understand why they were destroyed. That's just it. No one is coming to save black people. No one is coming to save white people. You both are the same. Black people are a conscious offspring of white folks. And I can break it down consciously and spiritually. Okay? Black folks don't honor their original creator. Black folks have nothing to do with solar intelligence anymore. You understand? Black folks eat dead things now in order for the technology of their minds to be in a dead mind state. And you're telling me something of these beings that they used to be God and this is that and the third. I hear what you say because I know what I am. But this is the lowest of the low when it comes towards us. This is why, as great ancestors, we do not claim black people. That's why when you see us, you're like, why you don't claim black people? I have nothing to do with that. Those are created by white people. I am not created by white people. Do you understand that? So with that being said, this is the reason why we denounce them as a whole. They are a conscious created offspring of white people. They would simply say, no, we're not. Yes, you are. The white people own the churches, don't they? Okay. So they own your spirituality system, even though you want to call it a religious system. They own that. Okay. Now they own the schools, don't they? Okay. So they own you two different ways. They own your conscious from whenever you went to elementary all the way to now. And then they own your own spirituality system that you call a religious system. So with that being said, you're owned. Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with a group of people like that. You think I do? No, I do not. I am okay. So I feel as though what's going on today is some people are saying and coming out and saying, I do not want to go with the identity of being black. And we're coming out and we're saying, I actually agree because of a simple fact. When it comes to the mind, right, and how the mind is built up and designed, understand black people don't own their own schools. So they don't own their own schools. They don't own their own knowledge. This is why I'm laughing at black people as a whole, because on a simple fact, Dr. Umar, right? This is all I'm going to say about the brother. At least the brother tried. Whatever he's doing, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. At least he came out with the idea to have his own school. Because he probably understand, like, hold on. If we don't own our own schools, then we don't own the knowledge of the school. And if we don't own the knowledge of the school, then we don't own our own minds. Okay? I don't know what Dr. Umar is doing, but I would simply say him coming out with the idea of owning his own school, I would agree that that nation should do that. The reason why that is because of this. Let me show you what you could do to nations. Watch. Invent a school right here. All right. Understand that I'm an enemy. I am not in support of them. Watch this right here. Own the school. You want to be just like me, don't you? Like, yes, I want to be white. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. Put the school right there. Put my information and data inside the school. U.S. history books, everything. Now, what's going to happen is the information and data from my mind, I project it inside of a book. I own the book because I own my mind. Your mind is reading, right? But also is copying and pasting the information and data from that book. Now your mind becomes my mind. Have a nice day. Woo, isn't that easy? All right. What? That's the truth. They're like, why is he laughing about it? I keep telling y'all, I'm not your brother. Keep telling y'all that. Okay? Not making it personal. I'm just letting you look at the picture really clearly because a lot of black folks, they be like, you like us. Stop. How am I like you if I didn't graduate from the program like you? I'm a high school dropout. I don't have a high school diploma. In order to completely be the program, in order to integrate with the system, you have to graduate the system. The reason why that is because in order to operate with the system, right, the system needs to integrate with your mind. That's what it needs to do. So you know what you got to do? You have to go to school, right? In school, right, it's going to download a systematic character within you that you think you are. There you go, simple setups. Okay? Now, what you have to do is this that I know. You know how you got your high school diploma? How did you get your high school diploma? Because I passed the class? Simple setups. Watch this. What class did you actually pass? You a black boy just like me, right? Like, yes. Can I ask you a question? What story that's ingrained inside your subconscious that prevents you from owning things? Your conscious is not invented to own something. That's not what it's invented to do. But what is in your subconscious that's preventing you from doing that? I'll tell you. Watch this. Come here, baby. They thinking they getting educated, right? Let me show you what's really going on. This is why I tell you, send your kids to a different type of schooling. You may not want to do community schooling, okay? They're doing something totally different. Come here. Come here, black boy. Come here, white boy. Come here. I got a story for y'all. Like, yes. Yes, it's called U.S. history. U.S. history. Yay. Understand that the technology of both of their minds, right, and their eyes are connected together. The technology of their eyes doesn't look or see. The technology of their eyes is analyzing, recording the data of what they're viewing. Okay? That's what's going on. Your eyes deal with in functionality settings, not stonewall settings of what you don't know. Okay? So what happens is simply as this. You get a black boy, you get a white boy, and the both of them are reading the same story. Reading. Okay? What they're reading, right, is being copied in their mind. So watch this. You get a story and you store the story within the mind in order to make a new creation or re-engineer the mind the way you want it to be. This is what you do. You give them U.S. history. When they're reading U.S. history, they're looking at, what's this guy named? Christopher Columbus and all these other different people, right? Understand when they talk about Christopher Columbus, they talk about him as he's the discoverer of America. He's the conqueror of America. He owns America. Do you not understand with the white boy? The white boy, being that he's hearing this story, he's like, okay, so I'm an owner. Yay! I'm an owner. I gotta own this shit. See that? There you go. These are the mind states that are being built. You understand? These are the mind states that are being built. Okay. So, being that these are the mind states that are actually being built, right? The white boy is looking at it like, shit, Christopher Columbus came over here to a whole nother land, conquered the shit. So he's the owner. Right. Now pay attention. The white boy is looking at like he's the owner of the country. Now, the black boy over here, he's looking at it as, oh, okay, my people are Africans. They came over here on boats. Okay, and basically they listen to the white boy. Okay, so this is what I'm supposed to do. What you have to understand is that the characteristic of the slave, right, that are within the books, the memories are being transferred to who? The new generation. That's what's going on in school. Minds are being re-engineered, reinstalled with information and data in order to keep a certain timeline going forever and ever and ever. This is why when you see school shootings, they not may not be the way you think they are. Understand that people as a whole are ignorant. I can walk up to a bunch of kids right now, okay, and tell them like, hey, I just want to let y'all know, y'all is being invented for slavery. You is being invented to be an owner. And the kids as a whole, they're not gonna listen. They're not invented to listen. So what happens is you have a whole system that keeps playing over and over and over until someone comes and they destroy the whole system. There you go. So the illusion in today's world is that white people own black people. That's an illusion. Black people actually work for the system. White people work for the system to keep the illusion going every day. You got it? Now, their great ancestor is here watching the both of them. And there'll be many things that'll play out. What I will tell you, the world that the both of them wanted together, that right there, that'll definitely come to annihilation. Okay? All right. Moving on. Um, that right there comes down right there. That comes down to annihilation or whatever the case may be. That's what that come down to. Always say all the time for the people that's out there in the world, um, a lot of people are very afraid of what's going on. The reason why that is we can see it. A lot of people are trying to attack. I guess some people say spiritual people or people that are trying to be on the right footing. Um, what you have to understand is that let us know whatever that y'all trying to attack, that's what y'all afraid of. Yeah. Everything that people are attacking today, y'all giving them everything they want. Yeah, it's not. Some people think the world is like, oh yeah, we doing this to try to fuck over you. No, you actually giving them everything they want. No matter if you do the right thing or do the wrong thing, you're still giving them what they want. I just want people to realize that you're not fighting against anything. You know how like all systematic people are uploaded with a consciousness in order to fight against a certain being? Y'all giving that being everything it wants. I don't think y'all realize it yet, but keep on doing what you're doing. All it does is put us into the time zone of where we're supposed to be at. People people are think that they're going through something where they think like, oh no, I'm just ignoring everything. No, you're not. You're not doing that. You're ignoring yourself. Yeah, that's what you're doing. Yeah. You think hold on, stop. You think it's a real world of you ignoring people? That's not real. You're ignoring yourself. Come here, let me show you. Come here, let me show you something. My sister, I'm not gonna say a sister, but a past individual that I thought was my sister, right? She's going through something and she doesn't even understand why she's going through it. Her brother asked for a wish in the clouds. Her brother simply said, I want to see everybody with life more, and I want to see kids happy, and I want to see more life being brought to earth. And so, right, the sister knew what the brother was asking for. She knew that. She knew that. This is why some people in jail and don't even know why they're sitting in there. The reason why she's sitting in jail is because I know she's in jail now. It's all registered right now. Shakira is probably in jail. The reason why she's in jail is because she don't understand what's really going on. Everybody don't understand. She's in jail because on the simple fact, I had asked for an experience. I wanted to see an experience with my sisters, with the guys that they were supposed to be with. I already knew this already. I already knew like my other sister, like you have a kid. My sister, so-called Shaasia, you have a child. I already seen it in a dream of what I asked for. I wanted to see if y'all was gonna obey. And being that y'all didn't obey, a lot of y'all getting locked up. That's why my sister's in jail. Yeah, she was fighting against. She's thinking she's fighting against her boyfriend. If I'm watching a whole dream through your boyfriend and I can see everything and how she lied on him and everything, he was fighting her and such. No, that was not that. So I seen the whole dream for myself. This is why certain people going through certain shit, just like my so-called other brother, his name is so-called Ray. He tried to do something to me and he got locked up too. Okay? So a lot of y'all that's working, trying to think that you're working against me, can't work against me. You all are working against yourselves. You understand? I don't even have to be there to know. I just know. Motherfucker locked up. She's gone, nigga. That's why she probably been answering her phone. She locked up. See? Motherfuckers know what they doing in this world, bro. Motherfuckers know what's happening. Motherfuckers know. They know, like, okay, that's bro. He trying to get back into the world, this, that, and the third. And motherfuckers over here trying to block you. That's why I say, stay focused, bro. For real. Stay focused. Stay focused. Because they got a lot of stuff out here to try to distract you, try to get you off your triangle, trying to get you off this, that. And everybody don't even understand, right? The same suffering that they going through, everybody about to go through. It is. Because they leader is already here. They leader already spoke to black folks. They leader told black folks, like, in today's world, right? Y'all are programmed to be unnatural. They literally got mad at him for saying that. So where you think they going at, baby? They already made a decision. Their decision is we are being controlled, right, by a false image that they say is God, right? And so their leader is checking on them every day, consciously in front of them. And the thing is with black folks, they know it though. But the thing with black folks is they stuck in illusion of what their original maker made. See, black folks is stuck in illusion of, oh, the Christ was killed one time, so he ain't that. He could be killed. Not understanding that Christ, that's the original Christ, he put all of y'all in illusion like that. Y'all human beings, y'all not more smarter than Christ. You understand? You got it as a whole? No, what's going to be fun? You know what's going to be funny? When you human beings that never look up to the sun, when you all go through a certain experience, you see those emojis that y'all putting? Use those same emojis, right? When we go to the world that we go into right now. Remember, as human beings, y'all are afraid of something, okay? And we already know what it is already. So please, as human beings, as the human race, Please stop with the fakery with your own screens. Please. I done seen many of your dreams. Watch how they run. I done seen many of your dreams with human beings, right? Especially specifically, right? White folks shit funny as fuck. Where they sitting there crying in a dream, begging for mercy. This is what y'all about to experience. It's about to be so funny, baby. This shit about to be funny. Okay? Remember, okay? Let's go inside the technology of their minds right here. Watch this. Do do human beings love Christ or do they hate Christ? You would simply say human beings love Christ. That's a lie today. Pay attention to what human beings have done as a whole. Every last one of them. It don't matter what color they are. Okay? Pay attention to it in America. That way you can understand something. In America, right, human beings hate Christ. Human beings have redesigned the Christ of what they see fit, which is an antichrist. Okay? That's what human beings support today in America. Okay? Now, what happens is when it comes towards Christ, right? Pay attention to the minds that are in front of you so you can understand the demons that are inside of them. Okay? When it comes towards the image of the Christ is eyes of flame, hair of wool, skin of bronze. That's the image of the Christ. Nobody praised that image though. Okay? All right? All right. So, being that no one praises that image, that means that human beings as a whole was trying to recreate and redesign the image of the Christ. There you go. Okay? No one follows the truthful image of the solar Christ. Nobody, everyone is afraid that the solar Christ is going to return to, even though he has already. It's being consciously uploaded in real time. Okay? So, what you have to understand as a whole is that human beings, right, created a great sin that they could not erase. There is no repayment, there is no forgiveness. Once you, as a human race, as a consciousness, say that the truthful image of Christ, right, is that the okay, let me go back. When it comes to the image of the Christ, right, human beings and the great sin of what they created was that they tried to re-engineer what the Christ is. Okay, that's what they tried to do, right? Now, the image of the Christ, it says it in the Bible. The image of the Christ is eyes of flame, hair of wool, skin of bronze. Okay, I'll be keep on saying this from the top of my lungs. Thank you. Right? That's what the image of the Christ is. But the image of the Christ that you have today is pale skin, blue eyes, and straight hair. The that could never be Christ. The reason why that is because on a simple fact, when it comes towards Christ consciousness is the sun. It's not the moon. Okay, that way you can understand that. Okay, that's Christ consciousness. It's the sun. Now, what you have to understand is this: when you say that Jesus is the Christ, right? The technology of the skin, right, tells a different story. The technology of the skin, when it comes towards so-called white folks, the technology of the skin, technology of the skin, right, has an ability to receive the information and data from the sun. Can I ask you a question? When you say that this is Christ, why is it that when you put white folks in front of the sun without any sun blocker, why is it that the technology of the skin burns inside the solar energy of the planet? Why is that? You said this is Christ, but its own people will burn, right? If the technology of the sun heats up to a certain degree, they become hot. They become overwhelmed by the sun. Huh? Remember, I'm not black. I'm a soul. Black people have forgot about their spiritual knowledge because they're spiritually being controlled. You understand that? So, when it comes to the technology of the technology of the skins speak to you directly. Maybe not the way I'm speaking now, but when they speak, they show you an image. There you go. They show you that the image, right, when it comes to the technology of so-called, right, when it comes to technology of so-called Jesus, Right. The technology of the skin cannot accept the technology of the sun. Understand that? You just can't. You're not created to. Okay. Now, when you pay attention, right, when it comes to the technology of my skin, understand that the technology of my skin, right, when the solar energy of the planet shines down and project information and data, the technology of my skin receives. Okay. Which means that the technology of my vessel is a receiver towards the information and data of the sun. Okay? Because I am that one. You understand that? That's what I'm able to receive. Got it? You got to be a sun in order to receive the information and data that's being projected from the sun now into what? Your so called skin. But your so called skin can't just be one word because your skin receives information and data from the sun. Now your skin becomes darkened, which means that your skin is enhancing. When it comes towards Jesus in the image of Jesus, his skin does not do that. That's what his skin cannot do. You understand? That's what his skin cannot do. His skin does not darken. So when it comes to the image of that Christ, that is not the truthful image of the Christ. That is nothing more than a cap re-engineered version of the Christ of what people, human beings, wanted to accept in order to bury the real image of the Christ. The real image of the Christ is right there in the Bible. Skin of bronze, hair of wool, all right? Eyes of flames. You understand? So, with that being said, or whatever the case may be, everyone in America has been reprogrammed and redesigned in order to hate the image of the Christ. Do you understand that? Pay attention to the technology of your mind so you can understand where you're going. I can tell you where you're going before you even get there, okay? The technology of your mind, right, has a savior saved in your mind, okay? You already have that saved in your mind. You already projected yourself where you want to go at, okay? Some people call it heaven and hell. You already projected yourself there. Understand that the technology of your mind holds memories. The Christ will walk up on you. He will simply say to you, "You want me to save you, right?" You'll be like, "Yes, save me, Christ." The Christ will simply say to you, "What is the image of the Christ that you saved in your mind in order for the Christ to save your mind?" Looking for him to save you, but he can only save the minds that saves him. Setups. Let me say that one more time. You're looking for him to save you, but he can only save the minds, right? That saved his image within their mind. Understand your Christ is standing above you. There's no memories that are downloaded inside the technology of your mind. There's none of that. So you know where you're going. You didn't build any images with the Christ. Black men didn't build any images with the Christ. The black woman didn't build any images with the Christ. The black sister didn't do it. The black uncle. Everyone that's black that's supposed to be around Christ today, none of them are there today for Christ today. Do you understand that? So they already made their decision today. So the decision is where they'll be going at. Do you understand? The image that's saved in your mind is why you're going where you're going at. You're not, a lot of y'all not coming where Christ is at. A lot of y'all hate the image of the Christ. A lot of y'all told Christ you need to cut your locks out. You need to cut those out. You need to stop saying the things that you're saying. So this nation has already denounced Christ as a whole. Got it? They already have a Christ, even though it is nothing more than an AI computer generated Christ. It's not a real Christ. The technology of Jesus' skin, right? If you put his skin inside of the sun, it's going to get to burning, which means that the sun and the technology of the sun is rejecting, right, the technology of his skin. You understand? The reason why that is because your DNA has access codes. What you have to understand is that your DNA holds the access codes of the sun. This is why you're able to receive the information and data of the light codes of the sun, because your DNA must have light codes already within it. That's why you're able to receive it. But y'all have been re-engineered and redesigned in order to hate yourselves, which is a great thing. If you ask me, I would never say that it's not great. I mean, y'all picked it up. It's just that understand the play that this is not going to go on forever. That even though you both white or black, whatever that y'all call yourselves, y'all have rewritten the script together. Y'all work together. Y'all don't. It's not no world of y'all against each other. Y'all work together. Pay attention to what's at the top. The reason why I can label y'all together, y'all make a false illusion by color, black and white setups. But the technology of their mind, right, has a memory that connects them together. Do you know what that is? The false image of the Christ, which is Jesus. Setups. So how are you two not in the same? Look like a lot of stuff that they were fighting for. Look like a whole bunch of camouflage shit. Yeah. Because of the simple fact that both of them praise Antichrist. I can expect white people to do that. But when I look at someone else that doesn't even look like white people at all, and they denounce their own creator, mm, that's where it gets juicy. Yeah, that's where the meat and potatoes is at right there. You gotta always, right, when it comes towards them as a whole, so-called black people, you gotta always ask, why did they go through slavery? Why did they go through that? And then why is it that I'm gonna show you this? Why is it that they stay within it? Huh? 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 How can you break, right? Think about this. How out of someone's control, right? If the whole time, listen to this, if the whole time when you pay attention, right, to, how can I say this in simple terms? When you pay attention to they so-called spiritual, never mind. Anyways, when you look at let's just say this in simple terms. When you look at um, black folks and their religious system, understand that at one point in time they didn't have a religious system. So what you gotta ask at the top, did black people convert to something consciously? I know the camouflage is this. Let me show you this. I'm gonna show you something. The one thing I understand with so-called black people is this. They would tell you, no, we went through that because of slavery. This is the thing though. When you ask them things about slavery and you ask them deep questions, they don't have answers to. Now, ask them this. Tell them this. Like when y'all went through slavery, right? Let me ask y'all a question. When y'all was a tribe. What's the name of y'all tribe back in the day? They're not gonna be able to tell you that today. I'm gonna show you something about them. That way you can understand something. Okay? Now pay attention. If you walk up to them and you say, hey, before y'all became Christians, before y'all became black, right? What was y'all? Pay attention to that. They not gonna be able to give you no answer. Do you know what that is? Remember the narrative is we were slaves. We went through all this mass oppression and all this. How you slaves if you ain't actually trying to trace back your history? How you look at this, right? How you a slave if the only thing you do with your own mind in the memory bank of your mind is you only install the information and data of your conqueror. How is that? How you trying to escape something if you projecting your conscious to go there? Look, you saying this? Listen, shit. You saying white folks they be controlling us, manipulating us? Oh, I hear you, right? This the thing though. How is it such, right? When you ain't got to send your kids to school, they own those schools. You do know that, right? Which means they own all the knowledge that's within there. If they own the knowledge that your mind is remembering, You're only remembering how to be owned. Education. That's what I would have did. Yeah, what's the point in fighting you with a gun when I could fight you with your own mental? All I got to do is re-engineer your mind. How look, who owned this so-called world? Christopher Columbus. Think, right? When they telling y'all US history, right? Always understand in every school you got majority of blacks and whites in there. I'm not saying that there's no Asians in there either. I'm not saying that. But you need to pay attention real well. When they're ingraining and re-engineer the technology of that white boy mind and that black boy mind, understand US history is making two minds at one time. Setups. Now pay attention. Christopher Columbus looks like a what? White boy. So think about it. When a white boy go inside the school, he looking at Christopher Columbus like, oh shit, that's one of my ancestors. That's me. That's how he looking at it as. And so his mind is looking at the world like shit. So I own everything, including this nigga too. Because of the simple fact, the story that's being played is that, yeah, supposedly you as the black boy that's a native to this land, that was never on that boat, that's really an African that's on there, trying to play like they you, okay? They about to re-engineer your mind and make a belief system within your mind to make you believe that this is not your land and that this is his land. Setups. You didn't see that in U.S. history, did you? Because you were trying to pass the subject. Do you know why you're not able to pass the subject? How are you going to be able to pass something, right? And the only thing that's being ingrained and re-engineered in the technology of your mind is nothing more than a lie towards yourself. Why you think yourself will not allow your mind to pass the lie? Setups. Oh, I didn't pass U.S. history because I knew it was a lie. Why would I pass a subject, right? Think about that. Why would I pass the subject? Put the subject in my mind, put the memory in my mind, even though I know it's a lie. And then I get an A for passing it by putting a lie in my mind. Mm, ain't that some shit? You get to pass the subject if you put the lie in your mind. If you obey that lie, guess what happens? You know all the answers of that lie because the lies are making your mind into a lie of itself. Do you understand that tech? Do you understand that tech? Do you understand that? Huh? Okay? That's what schools are invented for. Schools were invented because they did not want to fight war no more physically. They only wanted to fight war, what is that? Between spiritual, right, or consciousness. There you go. Got it? Mm-hmm. So, like I said again, when it comes towards the consciousness of where we at today, shoot, you got to look at everything that's around you, right? And how it was designed in order to conquer a consciousness. Got it? It's just like, they say ignorance today. Well, shit, you got to install ignorance because ignorance is actually a form of information and data. You have to install it. Now you're informed. Now the body can act like it. You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said today, when it looked like you going to school, you ain't going to school. I found out the reason why I don't go to school. Hell no, I see why. I wonder why. I wanted to know why. I basically, how can I say, basically left the whole system as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said before, your consciousness, they want to re-engineer it. They know this is all technology. They know this. This why today I'm not really watching no TV today too much. Maybe a little bit. Might watch the game, make some money off the game, something like that. The basketball game. You know what I mean? But I don't watch too much programming too much. I watch, the things that's happening in the world. That's what I do watch. I watch that. I watch how people interact with things, and I could say literally, people are trying to keep themselves in the old world, even though that whole world, right? That whole world right there is falling down. It's falling. The old world's falling. New York State falling. You don't see them fighting each other in there. You don't see that the rich and the poor is fighting each other in real time. You don't see that. I do. I see it in real time. I see that you have a bunch of people that's in New York State that looks at it like, oh, you got more money. Yeah, you supposed to give me something. What you got for me? That's the conscience of New Yorkers. The conscience of New Yorkers is like rats. Yep. What can I get out of you? See? Now, how do I know? It's because majority of things that New Yorkers ask for is not things that are suitable. They're not things of life. They're not things to connect life. They're not things to bring higher consciousness. It's just not. New York State was home of, yeah, you know, basically trying to re-engineer people's sexes. Huh. This is what New York State was doing. Uh-huh. New York State do a lot of wicked. Uh-huh. New York State is demonic as a whole. This is the state of consciousness, right? Where they look at it as, okay,
Yeah. How you doing, man?
great.
So we're gonna take that thing and put it up on the roof,
Okay, awesome.
okay?
All right.
And we're just putting it out of the way. I just set it out of the way so we don't step on it. You need
Thank
it
you.
right now?
Oh no, that's good. If you're gonna put it up there, that's great. Another
Yeah,
thing,
there's no way I can mount it to the building.
it's okay. That's great.
Okay.
The other thing is if y'all can have someone come up here, my bathroom sink, it's like clogged completely up. Like no water won't come down or nothing. I'm in 16.
16?
Yep.
I'll let them know, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So let me actually go reconnect on the other side. Yeah, because the Wi-Fi thing gonna go off. All right, I'm back. My bad. Right. So basically, I'm listening to some people in the back. I'm like, who the hell is that in the background? Like, sound like some white folks. I go to the back. It's some white folks sitting right out there. They're like, oh, we're gonna put your satellite. We're gonna put your satellite on top of the roof. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. They're like, yeah, we're gonna put it on top of the roof. They was like, we can't mount it on anything because they ain't got a mount. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, oh no, thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for actually putting it on top of the roof. Thank you. Now, when they go up there, this was the funny thing about it. When they go up there, right? Um, someone said I broke the internet yesterday. I hit 87,000 subscribers in one day. That's what's gonna happen to us. We right now. I'm gonna say this. That's great that you hit 87,000 subscribers. I am definitely happy for you. More importantly, I am actually happy for myself because I'm over 1,000 subscribers. I got to keep on going. Anyway, so um, like I was saying again, consciousness, right, has basically re-engineered. Okay. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. That way you can understand. When it comes to re-engineer someone's consciousness, what you had to do is you had to reteach them. You understand that? Now think about this. The schools and our conscious in the third dimension, we are projected that this is education, right? But what I understand is this. Okay, we can look at it as education, right? But this is what I'm looking at. Do we own these schools? No, that's the truth. Do we own the knowledge that's within these books? That's education. No, we don't. So if we don't own the knowledge, the literature, and we don't own the building, right? Then we don't own our own minds either. You don't own the education. You don't own the building. You don't own the teacher. They own the knowledge, they own the building, and they own the teacher. Which means that you're going in there, right, and your conscience is being re-engineered into what they want it to be. Understand that majority of so-called black little boys, after they get done with U.S. history, you notice that it never flicks on to their consciousness to own something. You notice that? But you notice the way when a little white boy graduate U.S. history, his ass going there want to own everything. You notice those two characteristics right after U.S. history? You notice that? You never noticed that, did you? I know. You'll never notice that. You'll be like, hold on, stop. I'm trying to tell you, both of them on a conscious trip. Both of them are being re-engineered and reinstalled with different characters. You understand? So pay attention to the setup. In U.S. history, they tell you about the so-called black boy. He was the slave that was on the boats, right? That came over here to America. That is a lie. He looks nothing like those people on that boat. Understand? Pay attention. They went over there to Africans, didn't they? Before it was called African, right? Just before Afrikaners came over there, right? And then called it Africa, right? Now, he takes some of those Africans, right? Because the white boy understand these are some strong people. Do you understand that? Why are you thinking he using the Africans? The enemy know, okay, about his enemy. Yeah. Okay. He just understand that, okay, I'm able to control their consciousness. They very strong, and I can get them to fight other people that there you go. You think the US immigration system, right? You think the immigration system was actually something that was used as something great? No, the immigration system is used to fight against the natives that are here. How do I know that? Understand that I know who I am. My ancestors were Seminoles. My ancestors had a great war with the Spaniards and bust that ass. We didn't lose a war. Do you understand that? So, can I ask you a question? If we were fighting in the state of Florida, right? We didn't lose the war against the Spaniards. Can I ask you a question? Was the tribes, right, that were in New York, right? Did they lose their land? Huh? Can I ask you a question? Did New Yorkers, right, when they were tribes, did some of the tribes go against other tribes? Were other tribes already fighting against each other before white people even came here? Setups. Huh? Oh, they don't want to talk about that today, do they? They going way up. They about to go way up there with the satellite. They like, yo, we're gonna put this on the roof for you right here. I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you. I gotta go get some money in a little while. You know what I'm saying? So what you gotta ask is those simple questions, right? Because anyone can see that white people didn't invade on us. No, they came here to do that, but they were helped by others. Thank you. So how's it an invasion, right? If you have others that are on the inside that look like you, right, that hate themselves in order to hate you, in order to allow their enemy to come in and to work with their enemy. Do you understand that? Do you know when you go look at the tribes that are in New York, you do understand what the tribes in New York that there were like, how can I say their names again? But there were like two tribes that were trying to stand, and they had to fight other tribes too. And these tribes were actually capturing other tribes, making them into slaves, right? That they came from. See? So when you may not want to look at them just first, right? Don't get me wrong, they have done a lot of egregious things. I'm not saying ignore what they have done, but the story starts with us first. It doesn't start with them. They are like second to last. You understand? All right. So that's what you have to understand. When it comes to the great state of New York, well, they say the great state of New York, but when it comes to the state of mind of New York, the state of mind of New Yorkers is that they definitely will backdoor each other to get whatever that they want. Do you understand? Okay. So when you go to the great state of New York, you'll start to understand. You'll always see that you have a Christopher Columbus, you have a Susan B. Anthony, you have all these different white folks that came through the state of New York. You understand that? So can I ask you a question? Is it the story, right, of you not doing research of, oh, white folks just came here and they just took over? That's ignorancy right there. Yeah, that's ignorancy. That's ignorance. That is not true. Okay? It is no such thing as a white nation can come over here and just take over. They don't have the mass power, nor do they have the brain power to do this on their own. They always need help and assistance by others. Do you understand? Why you think they went over to Africa, right? Before they came over here. Why you think they went over to Africa? Colonized their minds. That's it. Now it's able to use their minds because they know that the Africans are stronger than them genetically. Do you understand? Strength. They got way more strength than them. The boys know that. They're not going to tell you that, but they understand it. Like, yeah, these motherfuckers strong as a bitch. So, can I ask you a question? Would white people go get someone that's weak, right, in order to bring them here to fight us? They're going to be like, hell no, you're going to get wiped off. Right. So, our minds to get someone, right, that has the similar genetic makeup like you. Why is that? It's because I can use them to fight against you. Thank you. So, do you understand? Because a lot of people is really lost in this world. Some people are still thinking that we are the ones that's on the boat. No, it is not us that is on the boat. That's not us. Okay? All right. That's the white boy and all the people that he conquered. Do you understand? And then they come over here and they want to do what they want to do. Okay? You think Jamaicans wasn't part of it? All of that stuff? You don't think so? No, sir. These are the stories that they want you to stay away from. Because guess what? If you get a conscious upload to remember who your enemies are and they're in front of you, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, get these motherfuckers up out of here. Thank you. Or my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Let me reinstall that. Or you could be brainwashed to this whole world completely. You may accept the brainwashing and you may look at your enemies today as your people today. That's not that. Because anyone can see that immigrants as a whole, they come over here to get whatever they can get out of America and then run back to their country. They not immigrants is not setting up bills for American citizens to win. Thank you. They setting up bills for only them to win. Thank you. I never seen in France, right? Where you see a bunch of Africans and they can set up bills in France? Hell no. They don't do that. They don't do that. Okay? So if they can't set up a bill, right, in France from a whole nother different country, then I don't know why this is going on here in America. And if you understand a lot of the immigration tactics, they're all being shut out. Okay. Just because the people that's at the bottom, right, and they don't want to remember what was originally done, it doesn't mean that someone doesn't remember. And it doesn't mean that the information and data of what's supposed to play out today is going to play out. Iran and what's going on in Iran has everything to do with America. It's just showing you what could possibly happen here. You understand? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. See, you looking at it from like, you may look at it like from another country, right? Right? Coming here to America, doing things. Nah, it ain't like that.